So another way I think historically missionaries have made it from the West have made a difference in Asia was when I heard about a church that had formed in India. They were in such a remote part of the nation, and no missionary, you know, whether it was Western or indigenous, had got to them with the gospel message before. But amazingly, the radio waves go through forests, mountains, rivers, whatever, and they arrived in this village. And there were some FEBC broadcasts going into this remote village in Gujarat state. I learned this from Western missionaries later. And they had been following these messages. And so a group of people in the village got together and started listening to them every week. And then after about a couple of years, they wrote the radio station, because the radio station gave address from time to time, and they said, hey, can you guys send us a pastor? Because we're 200 people now meeting around your Bible studies and we really need a pastor. And the radio station was floored to realize, wow, so these Bible studies are given, or somebody's listening to them, and they're getting together 200 strong in the remotest part of the nation to hear this. So they were so excited. And by the time they got a pastor to them, a person to be there with them and pastor them, the church had already grown another 100 people. So here you are, 300 people from the ministry of a radio station in this, you know, central state of Gujarat, but to a rural area that had no contact with any missionary, indigenous or Western. The way that I think missionaries have made an impact in Africa and Asia is through radio ministry in Africa. As you know, I was a missionary in Guinea, West Africa for 14 years, and we'd often travel in the rural areas of Western Guinea. And I remember taking this awful trip with my friend. He was a Muslim by the name of Al-Sini, and he says, oh, there's this village where we have to go show the Jesus film and tell them all about Jesus. And this is a Muslim guy telling me this. I said, okay, line the trip up. So he did. And we went. It took us 6 hours to go 80 kilometers. That's how bad the road was. I mean, the road literally disappeared sometimes. When we got to the village, little kids started screaming when they saw me because they had never seen a white person before. They thought I was one of those phantoms. And their mothers had told them about, if you're not careful, the phantom's going to get you. And they thought he was here to get them. Anyways, that aside, that night we showed the Jesus film in the French language, and it was translated by Al-Seni into Susu language. And the crowd of 1,600 was just totally silent as they watched the film. And there was just tremendous interaction. The next day in the mosque, the people had seen the film, recounted it almost word for word. I was listening on the outside of the mosque, and they were recounting word for word the film. For the next hour and a half, that's all that was in the mosque service that day. And I thought, wow, these people are interested. How in the world are we going to keep this interest up? I can't come here every week because it's just too far. Well, as I was walking around the village the next day, I heard people tuning into this radio broadcast, and it was from ELWA, a radio station in Monrovia, Liberia. And I thought, there again, there's the power of radio. This media gets everywhere. They can go where no missionary has gone before.